Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm Toby, and I will be talking about reliable text-to-BIM generation. So let's start by looking at what text-to-BIM means. So what we have in text-to-BIM is that we have a user that defines some sort of requirements as textual representation. And we have some context, which can be an existing BIM model, or as you can see here, some boundary that defines our building outline. And then we put this into a system, which is usually an LLM plus something, and we get a prediction that is basically, hopefully, our intended design. What can we use text-to-BIM for? We can, for example, use it in early design stages to kind of get an early understanding of the design ideas that we can build. But it could also be interesting as some assistant, for example, if we have tedious work where we need to change a lot of properties in our existing design software. So as a researcher, we then compare a prediction against the ground truth, and we evaluate it on a whole data set. So we will get basically an average over all those different evaluation metrics. However, we find in recent work that a good score of, for example, 50% doesn't mean that 50% of our requirements, they are always met. It's more like on average 50% is correct. So if we actually have a look at how often are all the requirements that we put into the system correct, the number is much smaller. So for example, just 1.5%. So this means that there's a still gap in the reliability of current text-to-BIM systems. So this is exactly what my research is about, and here's a framework that I have in mind for this. So on the right, you can see the text-to-BIM system that takes the prompt and creates the RC model. But we also would like to have an automatic test case generator that takes the prompt, generates test cases, and we can always check them against the current status of the model and only get an output as soon as all the requirements are satisfied. So this is the first research question, how we can generate this automatic test case generator. Secondly, we would also like to research on improving the text-to-BIM system, for example, fine-tuning models, equipping them with harnesses, telling them more about the foundational BIM knowledges. And lastly, we also need to assess our data that is coming out of our model. And for this, we are currently building benchmarks, which are totally missing in this area. So this is our last contribution. And with that, I thank you for your attention, and I'm happy for your questions.